Hi everyone, it's special with ZA, and I'm here with a fashion designer who made this upcycled jacket. Um, do you mind telling us more about him?
Actually, my name is Maganda Shakur. I'm a Ugandan artist majoring in fashion designing, upcycling, and also music creation. So basically, I work with the brand, or I'm one of the co-founders of the brand, which she's wearing here. This is called Tutaabale. It's a Ugandan fashion brand that reimagines the cultural traditions and heritage, the narratives of the African fashion, but we reimagine them into this generation through the printouts on the jackets and also the upcycling of the jackets. Thank you.
So this is so new to me, yeah. So do you mind telling us what inspired you? Where did you get the idea from?
Actually, I'm inspired by, as I told you before, I'm inspired by my cultural traditions. This is where in Africa you find that we have shells in a lot of cultural traditions. You can find them in East Africa, they have shells. West Africa, they have shells. So basically, this is a fashion brand that reimagines the African narratives in fashion, but also trying to see of how we use the technology in time to bring up all these ideas. So basically, I'm inspired by my culture, traditions, and heritage of the cow shells. And that's why you see the cow shells on top as the main printers.
When did you start your fashion?
Actually, I started about this was in 2015. This is when I had a high school breakup. So I started my fashion. It was a bit sad, and was on a winner. I think you know the winner market, where I used to collect some of these stuffs and then putting them together, or making some sales. That's where I started from. It was not quite like a simple journey. There is always the ups and downs, some challenges and everything, But what also made me to continue was I always feel I always need to continue with my career that I started with the fashion. So that's why I keep on, doing this. But I started about this was in 2015, and I've been doing this. I've been doing the fashion. I'm also in the fashion industry for some of these years, the years that we passed through. And this was more in designing, collaborating with other designers, and also in styling, different artists. I also worked with different artists. And also in the recent years, this is when I learned tailoring, making clothes for myself. So this was also a thing that I felt like it should be part of my career. As a designer, knowing also how to create and also engage in your creation process.
So ever since you started your journey, do you think people have been able to understand your kind of art?
I think a few of them, they have tried to understand this, and when they understand it positively, they appreciate it, But sometimes it's also difficult to make people understand your art, Because I believe here in Uganda we have this fashion industry, but it's not, I couldn't say it's an industry area which is out there or which is selling out there, So most of the time what designers will come up with ideas, sometimes really hard, for people to understand them at a point, but it also takes time, explaining to people what your fashion is about, what's the inspiration from your fashion. But I feel a few of them, they'll try to understand at least what I'm doing, with these shells, trying to imagine all these African narratives in fashion.
So have you had any regional attacks for using these shows? Now people will be understanding this in a different way.
Yeah, sometimes, this is where in communities, you find different communities, they understand the shows in a different way. For example, they find you wearing shows and what they think, the perspective they give you something like traditionally using them in some other ways, some, I don't know. They always have different ideas.
So how do you describe shows?
I describe shells. I could say this is a material that has been used years and years into different kind of tradition. Mostly in African traditions, this is where we have the shells. They use them in their cultures, in their ceremonies. But also, this is not what I'm trying to bring up with this fashion. But with the use of cultures, I'm trying to reimagine all these practices, maybe that's also included in the African fashion where they used to use cultures. So that's also what the fashion is reimagining, or this kind of activities they use to use the shell, but in a good way. This also makes me to go back. This is a time where when I was starting the fashion brand, I looked into like something that could represent, where I come from. This is come from Uganda, which is in Africa, in East Africa. So this was a question to me to see like what object or what kind of art or picture going to be about out there to the people seeing your fashion. So I had this idea where I had little shells in my hair as well back before. But I was like, yeah, look, I have something that represents where I come from. So why don't I come up with this idea, Just using the same idea of these shells, that I have in my hair. Trying to come up with this idea of creating something which is visually sonic, So that's why I came up with this idea of creating all this. But it all goes whereby from the representation of my communities where I come from. Exactly.
So could you tell us more about your cloth brand?
So basically, when I talk about Tutaabale, this is a Venom Persian brand that reimagines the African tradition or timeless activities that used to happen before Basura, the use of fairy shares. And this is where we produce different kinds of products. Here we have the necklaces, the one you see with the cowrie shells. We have the bangles, here the one you see. Also we have the track fans that represents this is the street fashion in Africa, because this is where we also get to imagine the streets where I move and everything, So this brand also imagines these street movements, like in Africa, basically in Kampala. And also we note other products which comes with the bags, like some of the bags you see here. Those are some of the products that we've been trying to make, and also we're looking forward into more collaborations, with other artists. They're exactly making the things to run, because it's all about in the art industry, like collaborations, also seeking more ideas from others and others. Because it's a Ugandan fashion brand and it's up there, you want to see sexual brand, everyone can put it on, everyone can shine with it, It also gives a meaning to where they come from, and this is where they come up with this idea within the shares.
Africa, it's Africa.
Yeah, Africa is Africa.
So I have one question. It's kind of funny, but how much, on a scale of 100, how much do you love art?
I think answering that question, I think I love art. I've been doing art in different kind of forms. This is where I told you before when I was introducing myself.
Yeah.
I do upcycling, I do recycling, I also do music. But it's a different kind of music, like underground music, not the mainstream music they want to do. So it's really kind of different. But I always like with all these ideas that I come up, like the artistic ideas of merging them with the art I do. So I believe out of 10, I could say I love fashion. That could be like 9% of it, 9% of 10. But now, I fail at my side because the way
Out of 100, you just giving me now.
Oh, sorry, I had about like 10, but it's
I know it's 100.
But if it's 100, that could be like 90% of it, like it's a favor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I always, like art, making art, and also coming up with these different ideas, of how we could use also how to defeat the challenging situations in our communities, Exactly.
So how is your music journey going?
So far right now, when it comes to music, basically I make music that also imagines like my communities and also my culture heritage. So basically I've come up with these ideas of drugging samples, like fusing them, but also bringing them in a world which is electronized, trying to get these samples from them, distorting them, transposing them, getting something unique.
So creative. So do you have any final words for the upcoming designers out there or a musician that's going to watch this?
Yeah, sure. I have a lot of words to them, but still not a lot. But what I can say to all the designers, the music artists about that side, is to keep on creating, and not to give up in any kind of situation. I know we designers and creators always have like challenging situations. Sometimes we meet ourselves to be discouraged in different kind of forms, But what I'm telling to them is to keep on creating, to keep on doing what they're doing, and also to be more ambitious on what they are creating, and also making more research about their creating, because we also have that challenge of making research these days where people can come up making different arts, but with no specific kind of research where they are. Why? Asking themselves whether they are creating the same thing or why they are doing this kind of thing, Yeah. So I could keep them, like telling them to keep on pushing and also make the art moving forward.
So do you have any shout outs to people out there? Could be
Yeah, I have some simple shout outs. First of all, I would like to shout out to the people hosting me today right now, the Deferred Mark, which is making also like a big contribution to the Ugandan fashion industry, working with all these young, emerging, talented designers, I'm collaborating with them, in their fashion magazine. And I would also like to shout out all these people that are engaging in my artistic practices, Sounds of Renewal, Street Fresh Mob, Nevatika Practice Symbol, Tutaabale. So these are some of the people that I feel they've been also there in my artistic practice and journey. Exactly.
thanks so much. Yes,